Good morning, everyone. How are we? I'm going to be a little bit sniffly today. My apologies already. It's that time of year, pollen straight up my nostrils and bang. So I might be sneezing again. I'm sorry. I'm going to try and hold this and not do it right in your ears. But anyway, how is everybody? Lovely to be back. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. If you know me, you'll know I really just can't do it. No matter how much I try. No matter how much I pretend, it just doesn't happen. See, look, I have no idea where to find the comments. Anyway, I tell you what we'll do. Yeah, I don't know where it is. Okay, well, hello. How is everybody? I hope you are all well on this Sunday morning. I hope you guys are looking forward to getting back out into the world. I know that your lockdown is ending slowly but surely. Our lockdown is not, so I envy you all. We are still in lockdown. This week has been 3 days today, so that's been interesting. 3 days today, third day today. But anyway, tell me, today's talk is 5 simple steps to a healthier relationship with food. Now, if you've seen me, you know I'm going to harp on about all this boring stuff, right? Morning, Belinda. There it is. Look, I found the comments. Morning, Mandy. Oh, lovely to hear from you guys. I hope you are all well. Good morning, Diane. Oh, look at that. You guys are just, you massage my ego and make me feel wonderful. Okay, so let's get going. Let me make it worth your Sunday morning. So uh, we'll start off with 5. Point number 1. Now, first, what you've got to understand is your relationship with food. Good morning, Amanda. Your relationship with food is just like your relationship with anything else, even a human, okay? Or your relationship with your dog. Morning, Jane. Nice to have you with us. Um, so it's important that you treat this relationship, yeah, in the way that you would like it to be. So if you would like it to be a really, really good, healthy relationship where you're working as a team, then you have to put that in. You've got to put that energy in to your relationship with food. If you don't, then you cannot expect to see any real long lasting changes. And this is the issue, isn't it? We focus a lot on what it is that we need to do, and those things are very tangible. They're great, they're outside of you. I've got to eat this, I've got to do that. At this time, I've got to work out. At that time, I've got to do this. But your internal environment is actually getting really neglected. And what you don't understand is that your behaviors and everything it is that you feel is all a direct consequence of your internal environment, not your external. So, again, what you're doing by focusing on the outside is that you're actually focusing on the thing that really doesn't play that much of a part. So, what's happening with your internal environment? Your relationship with food is key to you being able to manage your weight effectively in the future. Now, what's the point in working as hard as you all are now, in investing as much time and energy into all of this amazing stuff that Jane is doing right now? What's the point if literally in 12 months' time you're back to square one? Like, what was the point? And not just that, it's gonna hammer your confidence. It's gonna really hurt. And what that does is it takes a little piece of you away. And that's not what we want, right? We want to give you the best start, and we want to give you the best middle, and we want to give you the best end, whatever the end may be. But, morning, Claire. Um, so what you're looking at doing is making sure that you're investing as much time and energy into your internal environment as you are your external environment. Yeah, even if you don't understand why, then watch these videos. I'm here once a month, and I've got stuff on YouTube. Have a look and see it. Have a look and realize that it's really, really important to focus on what's going on in here and what's going on here, which then affects what you do here. Now, step number 1 to your morning, Karen. Oh, you lot are all just like I said, you just do so much for the ego. I mean, you massage it and make me feel wonderful. So, sorry, step number. I'm like a child. Look, if I get interrupted, I lose my way completely. 1, vision board. Okay, so Vision board, a simple step in the direction to a healthier relationship with food. Now, why have I chosen vision board today? I've chosen it because it was all the kind of fad and all the in thing 10 years ago or whatever it was. Actually, I say 10 years, I don't know. Yeah, about 10, 12, 15 years ago. It was all the in thing. And then you know what? We moved on to the next in thing. And then we moved on to the next and moved on to the next. Now, the reason that vision boards are so helpful psychologically, emotionally, and to actually go off and achieve your goals is because it's using one of the most powerful tools that we as human beings have. And that amazingly powerful tool is no, it's imagination. Yeah, your imagination is so powerful that when you can only simply imagine it, your body starts to behave as though it is it, right? The example I'll give you, because I know that sounded really strange, right? The example I'll give you is that athletes, what they've been doing for a while now is 15 years, 16 years at least they've been doing this. They will get their athlete, let's say you are a 100-meter runner, they'll get their athlete and they'll get their athlete to imagine that they are running the 100-meter race. They're not going anywhere, right? You're sitting in your pajamas. It doesn't actually matter. They're sitting there and you get your athlete to imagine it. And what you do is you get your athlete to run through each moment of this race bit by bit by bit, okay? Looking at and feeling where you are at in your body, kicking off the muscles. Do I start with this foot or that foot? Then what muscle am I engaging to lift it up? Is it my buttock muscles? And then as I'm running, I mean, look, as you can see, I'm not an athlete, nor am I a coach. So I don't know how they do it, man. But however it is that they do it, they run through with you the race. And as you do that, in your mind, your body, and they've done this is scientifically proven data, okay? Your body starts to behave as if it is running through the race, and your muscles start to activate, and your muscles start to behave as if they ran the race. And what it does is, after doing this a certain period of time and a certain amount of times, they've then tested this athlete's endurance, and it is as if they had run those races. I know. Amazing, right? So why would you not use this most powerful tool? I don't know. You'd have to be absolutely insane not to use it, because you don't even have to get off of your butt cheeks and go anywhere. You don't even have to go and do anything. All you have to do is imagine being and having and doing the things that you want to do when you are at the weight, your body size is where it is, that you really, really want, when your heart truly desires. So the vision board gives you that. And this is why the vision board is one of my favorite tools. It gives you the ability to cut out your favorite things. If you're an artist, draw them. I mean, please do go ahead. Through this lockdown, many artists have come to the forefront, and I've seen some beautiful work from some of my clients and some of my ex-clients and just friends and family. I mean, the artists are really coming up. So if you're a bit of an artist, please do it yourself. If not, find some pictures, find some cutouts, print some bits, get it onto your vision board. Now, a vision board is split into two. Okay, and one part of your vision board is where you are now. And what you do is you place pictures and representations of how you are feeling now in your relationship with food, in your body, with things that are going on in your life. You basically have a bunch of graphics or words or whatever it's going to be that then define that. And then you have a tiny little cross thing across you can see my language today is like, I don't know, I think it's really kind of dumbed down, but you've got something that then goes across this vision board like a little river or something, if you want to call it that, and then you want to get across that, and getting across that gives you then the other half of your vision board, right? And this is all on the same piece of paper, and this will be what it is that you truly want. Okay, your heart truly desires. What size dress are you in? Or shoes or trousers or pants, or I don't know, you might just be in your knickers, whatever it is you want to be. What size are they? Yeah, how are you standing? What are you wearing? What are your shoes look like if you have shoes on? How are you feeling? What's your face looking like? Are you smiling? Are you just standing there going, yeah, I'm so amazing? Are you looking in the mirror? What kinds of things are you doing? What colors are you wearing? What dresses are you wearing? Or what shops do you shop at? What accessories have you got? What things are you doing? Who are you hanging out with? Yeah, what do you have? All of these things you want on your vision board, and you want it on that side of what your heart truly desires. Now, this must have zero logic in it. Okay, you don't start doing your vision board and then asking yourself, oh, but how am I going to do that? It doesn't matter how. The how is so irrelevant, you wouldn't believe. All you have to focus on is what it is that you want. Put it onto your vision board and let it be there. Now, another really, really useful thing that this does is that it gives your emotional self, which is your inner child, yeah, talked about your inner child plenty of times, but it gives your inner child the ability to do something that she really, really enjoys, that she finds really, really heartwarming and yay, without logic. She can just choose the things that she wants and not have this adult voice going, yeah, but how are you going to do that? Yeah, but what are you going to do to get there? I mean, who cares? I just want to be able to choose these things and get excited about them. Yeah. So, and then you can do that. So, again, the vision board gives the inner child a chance to express what it is that she'd like to express without the crap, and it is crap, without the crap logic of the adult and the critical parent who are like, oh, but you can't do that. Oh, but what about this? Can we just put it onto the paper and just let her enjoy herself? So that's what the vision board does, is it really gives that inner child of yours the opportunity to get it out there, not have to worry about the who's and the how's, and just be able to put it down on that piece of paper. Now, this bit in the middle, I said to you, is like a crossroad. Here is where on this vision board you will put your challenges, okay? The things that you know will be a challenge in you getting to the other side. And it could be I remember in my vision board that I'd done 122 years ago. One of the challenges was actually my mum, and she was in there in this little crossroads. And the reason my mum was in there was because my mum's a feeder. And my mum shows her love to me and my brother through food. So she loves to cook, and God, she loves to cook. She still loves to cook. I mean, she loves to cook amazing food, and it is amazing. I'm not just saying that because she's my mum. Like, she makes good food, man. And she cooks this amazing food, and that's how she shows her love. My mum just moved houses, right? And she's moved houses into this area, and what did she do? She cooked a bunch of food and gave it to all her neighbours, who now absolutely love her and love it. And so she'll make the rest of the street, I think, pretty overweight too. So that's what she did, and showed her love through that. So I didn't want to reject her love, right? So she became this obstacle for me, this challenge for me in being able to not only lose the weight, but to be able to keep it off, because I can't go, no, I don't want your love, but yet I've got to start being more empowered about what it is that I'm eating and what it is that I'm choosing to eat. So I found that one really quite tricky. So what you're doing is you're looking at putting those types of things in your crossroads. Call it what you want. Call it a river. I don't know. Call it whatever it is you want. Sorry, my thing is doing something very technically weird. Yes. So that's that. Now, whatever other challenges you have, I don't know, what else would they be? Money, financially, you might think, oh God, if I really, really want that, it's going to cost this much. Okay, so fine, whatever, put that in. It might be your partners, it might be siblings, it might be, I don't know, the curfew itself, the lockdown itself could be one of the challenges that you put in there. So bung those in. Now, like I said, this vision board has no logic in it. You don't need to figure out how you're going to get there and what you're going to do. All you're going to do is pop it down on your vision board. Now, what you're going to do is put it somewhere where you get to see it at least once a day. Okay? At least once a day. Now, you don't have to be staring at it, and you don't have to look at it in order for it to manifest itself. But what you do need to do is have it somewhere where it's literally in your peripheral vision, or in your vision, that you just glance across every single day. And then leave it. You don't need to come back to it. You don't need to do anything. But what I can tell you and promise you is that you'll look at it one day and go, oh my God, like, 70% or 80% of the things that I've put on the other side that I really, really wanted have come to my fruition. Oh my God, how amazing. It is amazing, isn't it? So yes, your step number one is your vision board. Please, please, please get yourself out there and try and get it done, okay? Just print things off or cut things out of a magazine. Now, step number two to an amazing, healthy relationship with food is slow everything down. Believe me, I need to take this message too. But by slowing everything down, what you can now do is start to see what it is you need to see. You can start to hear what it is that you actually need to hear, which gives you the ability to do what it is that you actually need to do. Like I said, what matters more than anything in the world when it comes to you achieving your goals is your internal environment, not necessarily your external environment. Yes, of course, like everything, your external environment has an impact, but in the grand scheme of your internal environment and your external environment, your internal environment has a bigger, far, far bigger impact on you and your behaviors than your external environment. So the key is to become a master at this, not necessarily that. By slowing everything down, you are now present enough to hear what's actually going on in your head. When you do that, you can start to gather data rather than guessing, rather than wondering, rather than writing down what you think it might be. You're now actually listening to it. This is the key. In any relationship, if you feel unheard, you're going to stop caring. In any relationship, if you feel like what you say and what you do doesn't matter, then I tell you what, you'll stop doing it and you'll stop caring. And this is what your relationship with food hangs on, is the fact that if you don't give, mind my French, a shit about what's going on in here, then it's not going to care about what it is that's going on outside of you. And when I say it, I don't mean you've been possessed by an entity. I'm talking about your emotional self. And your emotional self, whether you like it or not, is not your logical self. Okay, left hemisphere of the brain and right hemisphere of the brain. This is science, I promise you. It's not just some fluffy candy floss that we make up. Your left is your logic, your right is your emotion. Your right is your feminine, your left is your masculine energy. The two energies must work together. One is not more important than the other, but yet one is not any worse off than the other. Okay, it's really important that both of them need to be in sync, like a marriage. Yeah, they both need to be in sync. Now, by slowing everything down, what you've just gone and done is given the right hemisphere, the feminine part of you and that energy, the room to speak, to communicate, because she talks in feelings, he talks in words. The two of them need to be able to tell each other how they're doing. The left does very well because there is tons of language going on, tons of language. The right doesn't get much of a chance. So by you slowing everything down, you can notice. Notice, what is it that I'm thinking? What part of me is saying what? Is that the logical part of me? The testosterone masculine part of me? Or is that the feminine part of me? Is that the feelings? Is it that part? Or is it the language? What is it? Now, what this also gives you the ability to do is to observe from a distance. And when you do that, you can now start to build knowledge. Knowledge on the one thing that matters the most. You. Knowledge on what it is that is getting in the way of you achieving your goals. Whether that be to lose weight, or whether that be to change your job, or whether that be to earn more money, or whether that be to start a family, or whatever, move country, whatever it might be, it doesn't matter. But it gives you the ability to do that. Now, come on, who doesn't want to be able to do it? Okay, so step number 2, slow everything down. Today, I'd like you to try it. Today, as you talk, slow everything down. I want you to focus on your breathing. Slow your breathing down. Take deep breaths and fill up your lower chamber of your lungs and fill up the upper chamber of your lungs. Did you know that when we are breathing and not being mindful, we're technically only filling up the lower chamber of our lungs, meaning we're not getting half as much oxygen as we could. So to fill up the upper, you do this, right? I can't do it a lot at the moment because of the hay fever, unfortunately, but by doing this, I'm now allowing me and my body to work at its best. By doing this, I'm allowing me and my mind to have clarity. What do you think happens when you are clear, have clarity, and working at your best? Only good things can happen. So, step number 2, slow everything down. Step number 3, and this goes to everybody. Stop judging. And that has a whole point all on its own. It's a whole step on its own. Stop judging, okay? Stop making judgments of your outside world and stop making judgments of your inside world. Honestly, in the however many years I've been doing this job, this is the biggest downfall to anybody's success that I've seen. Anybody's true long-term happy success, okay? Now, there's 2 types of success. There is the CEO of a blue chip company, yeah, at the age of 70, who's got his Ferrari or her Ferrari sitting outside and as happy as Larry and gotten everything. And then there's the other success. Now, did you know that this CEO of this blue chip company, 9 times out of 10, and we know because loads of psychological research has been done, 9 times out of 10, they've gotten to the end of their lives and done all the things they think they need to do and used discipline and judgment and strength and all those things and stepped on people's heads to get to where they need to. But when they've gotten to the end of their lives, what they've realized is they've got no emotional intimacy with anybody. There's no real love. There's no real connection. There's no real anything. And so now I've gone and done all the things I wanted to do and I've achieved them. And I'm such a successful individual that I'm on the cover of magazines and I'm everywhere. And or even if I'm not, I've still got enough money to buy what I want and have what I want. But I tell you what I don't have. I don't have this void inside. I feel empty. I don't have love, true emotional intimacy and love. And love is not about someone else. Love is about you. The ability to connect with you, the ability to feel content inside, regardless of what your outside is or isn't doing, regardless of what your body is or isn't. You have the ability to accept you as you are, because only by doing that is it that you can go and become what it is that you want to be, by accepting what it is that you are. So that kind of happiness where I've got everything I want, but inside, I think I'm happy, but I'm still not, and I don't understand because I've got everything I want. That kind of happiness, no point. So what you want to do is learn to not only stop judging yourself, but to stop judging others. And what you will do by just making this change is that you will stop using fear and you will start using love. Fear is very, very finite. Okay? Fear runs out very quickly. Fear is very heavy. Fear is like just trudging. It's trudging. Fear is really, really long. It's like, wah. And fear is attached to sadness and fear is attached to anger. So you have to deal with all of that whilst you're using the energy of fear. And if you judge, if you keep judging, or even if you make judgments here and there, whether they be about yourself or whether they be about others, you're using fear. Well, you'll get what you want. You'll get what you want, but it won't last because in fear, we basically run out of energy. And when we run out of energy, what happens? We can't do it anymore. And now there's no love there because, well, we were using fear. And so we feel very empty and void. And when we do that, what do I need to do? Well, if your relationship with food is dependent on food, which it kind of is, right? Your relationship with food is dependent on what it is. Sorry, dependent on your feelings, not food. If your relationship with food is dependent on your feelings, then imagine if you're feeling really, really low and you're feeling really, really empty, then your relationship with food will now change again. So you used fear to get it to where you need to, and now you've gotten to the end of it, you've run out of fear, you're feeling empty, and those feelings need something, and you usually use food, and so now you're going to use the food that you don't really want. Yeah, those ice creams that we talk about all the time, the evening ice cream, whatever it might be, that's where it kicks in. So we have to start to realize if I make judgments, whether they be about me or whether they be about others, I'm using fear, and fear is not going to get me what I want consistently. Now, stop being mean because mean is also part of judgments. So stop being mean about yourself and stop being mean about another. Even if it's just one other, even if you're not mean about a million people, but you're mean about one person, don't do it. Don't do it. Being mean about yourself is again using fear. So stop being sarcastic and making sarcastic comments about yourself. Stop it. Use love, not fear, because fear will only but get you more fear. Using love will get you more love. And I'll tell you what, love is infinite. It's infinite. So it doesn't run out. Love is unconditional. Yeah, as long as it's reliant, self-reliant, you mustn't rely on something outside of you. You must rely on you. And the only way you can do that is by becoming completely comfortable in your own skin. I am who I am. It is what it is. And you know what? It's only when I can accept that part of me is it that I can become whatever it is that I want to become. So it's a bit like what Buddha said about attachment. If you truly, truly want something, let it go. And funnily enough, it will come back to you. So being mean is going to be something that's going to really hinder your journey, just as judgment is going to hinder your journey. Also, what you're doing when you do that is you're looking outward. I've already told you 3 times now that actually looking outward isn't the way to you managing your relationship with food in a healthy way. It's going to come from looking inside, not out. And by being mean and by judging, you're going to be doing it on your internal environment, but you're also doing it on your outside. And your outside and focusing on that, no use. So, the one more example I wanted to give you actually about using fear is this. Imagine, because using fear, judging and being mean is actually emotional abuse, okay, if we really want to label it. Now, let's just bear with me, right? Emotional abuse. Now, imagine if I turn that emotional abuse into physical abuse. Okay, it means every time I'm mean and every time I make a judgment on me, it means I'm kicking the crap out of me. Okay, so let's say I've made 20 mean or judgmental comments about myself. Okay, so I have kicked the crap out of myself, a proper beating, 20 times today. Now, funnily enough, you're not even aware of it. Why? Because we're not even aware of what we're thinking half the time, which is why I'm giving you these 5 simple steps, right? So you're not aware of it. You've just kicked the crap out of yourself 20 times today, and now you are expecting yourself to do really, really well when it comes to the exercise, the to-do list that you've set, and then your relationship with food. But you're exhausted, you've been battered, and imagine somebody's telling you, now go and run the marathon, go on and win. You just kicked the crap out of me, and now you want me to go and run a marathon and win. Well, even if I wasn't beaten up, I still wouldn't win the marathon, but that's not the point. Even if I was training to run a marathon, if you're going to kick the crap out of me every day, how am I supposed to be able to do my best? I can't. I'm not going to do very well at all, and that's what using fear is. Using fear is, if we turned it into something physical, it's just that you can't see it, it's not tangible. But actually, using fear, being judgmental and being mean, if we made it tangible, it would be kicking the crap out of you. If you're going to kick the crap out of yourself 20 times a day, then be ready for you dealing with stuff like somebody who has had the crap kicked out of them. You'll be exhausted, you'll barely be able to focus on it, you'll hardly get anything done, and I tell you what, you'll have no clarity, you'll be foggy headed, you've got no real ability to understand it, and then you'll just feel really annoyed. So why would you do that to yourself? Again, using love means you're not kicking the crap out of yourself, you're nurturing yourself. So if I'm going to train you to run a marathon, rather than beating you up every day and telling you then to go and win it, I'm going to now give you the food that you need to win the marathon. I'm going to buy you some nice trainers that you need to win the marathon. I'm going to get you some of that spandex, latex stuff, that you've got to wear to go and run your marathon. Whatever it is that you need, I'm going to give you that, and then you can go and run your marathon, and then I'm giving you the best possible chance. Using fear is giving you the worst possible chance. Please remember this, because this is really important. Change that dialogue. Don't use fear, use love. So that's step number 3. Now, step number 4, how to choose love. Very logical, I know. So how does one choose love? One chooses love by asking questions, not assuming. This is one real big issue that we have in the human way of thinking, is that we've become very, very assumption driven in the way that we think about ourselves and the way that we think about others. Apparently, we've all become a bunch of psychics, and we've all become a bunch of fortune tellers, and we can all communicate with each other telepathically, because that's what I hear now, right? Like, she should have known. How? It's common sense. Depending on which borough in the world you grew up in, or in England, I'll tell you what, common sense is very different. I know, because I used to hang out in Yorkshire for much of my childhood at my mum's sister's place. Loved it. And I'll tell you what, common sense over there was very different to common sense in East London, which is where I was living at the time. And that's just in the same country. So common sense differs. So how's about we don't make assumptions on what it is that somebody thinks or should do or whatever it may be? How's about we start asking questions? And the same for us. How about I start asking myself, why? Why? Why did you choose the ice cream, even though you really, really want to lose weight, and you get really excited when you've lost some pounds and an inch off your waist? How comes you still chose that ice cream? Do you want to tell me what's happening? Do you want to tell me how you're feeling? And you talk to yourself that way. What you'll do when you use love is you'll nurture. What you'll do is you'll create a safe space in which you can start to gather data on yourself and understand why, truly understand why. What's driving that behavior? And by using love, you can find that out. If you use fear, you're literally, I don't know, a child. Actually, one of my clients told me the other day, her daughter, when she was on the phone to her partner, her daughter emptied out, a daughter of 3 years old, emptied out some nail varnish, finished out a lipstick thing, and dropped all sorts of stuff on the bedroom floor. When she'd gone in, she knew that this isn't her usual behavior, and so she kind of stopped and went, "Hey, how are you? What's happening?" And she had an idea as to why she had acted out in that way. Now, it's just a little example, but this is exactly what we need to do. Not make a judgment, not go, you shouldn't, but go, hey, this is really interesting. I'm not saying that it's okay to do that, but what we are saying is I need to understand how that happened in order to make that change so that it doesn't happen again. Nurturing and using love does exactly that. Now, building knowledge means you are no longer guessing. Oh, this is because of that. Or copying someone else's guess. or copying someone else's assumption. What you're doing when you use love is you're building actual knowledge and you're gathering data on yourself. So start asking yourself questions, not from a judgmental place, but from a place where you really want to know why. Wouldn't that be lovely, where you actually want to know why, rather than judging or assuming or guessing why, and coming from a place where you genuinely care? Yeah, you're not going like this. You're going, no, but really, I want to know and I want to support you. When's the last time you supported yourself to achieve what you want rather than judge yourself? Again, these things are really important. So, choosing love gives you the ability to do that. But not only that, it gives you the ability to choose. When I choose love, I'm choosing love. If I just use fear, I'm not choosing. So, even if I choose fear, at least I'm coming from love to choose fear. So again, love gives you the ability to choose. The final point, I mean, look at that. The final point is number 5. It's spending time alone, you and nature. Why? I know it sounds like something off of one of the quotes that you get from everywhere. You know, you're going to spend time in nature. You know, it's lovely. No, but there is actually some real important physiological and psychological and emotional shifts that happen when, one, when you spend time alone, and two, when you spend time alone in nature. They are what? They are that you naturally slow everything down just by being on your own and just by spending time with nature, you are now naturally slowing everything down. Also, what you do is you become observant, more observant of the nature that you are around. Why? Because, well, you've got your thoughts, but now you've got fresh air and you've got movement and you've got sound. And what that does is it gets you to be more present. And that's what we're looking at doing when we are spending time alone, but out in nature. When you spend time alone and you're in your own home, you really are not necessarily going to be present. Why? Because, well, an overthinker has anything up to 250,000 thoughts a day. So being alone means you're just going to have even more thoughts. But doing it outside gives you more oxygen, it gives you more sounds, it gives you more smells. All these things are doing everything to keep you present. Also, observing nature is really, really good for your soul. Why? Because nature is not thinking. Nature does not have a language like we do, where we are able to communicate all in the same language, regardless of the species and the race that we are, right? So nature doesn't actually speak in an egoic language. Nature is flowing. Nature is being. Nature is simply doing what nature does. Nature doesn't judge, right? That one, one tree with leaves on it and the other tree without leaves on it, they're not looking at each other, are they? Going, well, why? Why do you have leaves and I don't? I can hear some of you going, well, how do you know? Because they don't actually speak a language in which an ego is then produced. And without an ego, there is no greed, desire, or power, which means there is no judgment. Yes, nature will get scared, but nature will not judge. Why? Because there's no ego to make that judgment. So again, what nature does and being in nature does is it gives you the ability to be around a really good influence. And nature is the best influence you're going to have. Nature and dogs, obviously. I say dogs because cats I'm allergic to, so obviously it's going to be dogs for me, right? And dogs are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Man's best friend. Oh, they really are. Dogs are egoless. That's why we love them. That's why they are man's best friend. Dogs are egoless. So, alone time with nature, what does it do? It also gives you vitamin D, something that everybody is really, really lacking in, unless you've been taking supplements. And even then, a supplement is great, but did you know vitamin D enters through your iris? Yeah, so vitamin D is absorbed best and directly from looking at the sun. So wouldn't it be nice, and we're not looking directly at the sun, but having the sunlight be absorbed through your eyes. So it's really good to get some nature. Why? You can get some vitamin D. What else? Like I said, you have flow. And flow is key. Flow is the opposite of thinking and planning and following a step-by-step way of doing something. Nature doesn't do that. Nature does the absolute opposite. Nature doesn't think. Nature just goes. It preemptively just keeps moving and it's flowing, and it doesn't make things mean things. So again, these are the 5 key elements that you can focus on in order for you to really bring your relationship with food in a healthy place. So we've got step number 1 is a vision board. Step number 2 is to slow everything down, including your breathing, including your blinking. Yes, you want to slow down the blinking, slow down your breathing. Yeah, you want to stop judging. Please stop being mean. Please, I beg you, stop being mean to yourself. Stop judging yourself. Stop judging others. What else do you want to do? You want to choose love and not fear. And finally, you want to spend some time alone out in nature, breathing all of it in, setting off your senses, listening to the sounds. Beautiful. Well, anyway, thank you very much, ladies, for all of your hellos. You guys know me well enough now to know how much I love your good mornings. Thank you. Glad to be here. I wish you all a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you guys in about a month. Take care of yourselves. Bye.